Greetings. Here in the video here, I will just go through the SperoEngine, which is a rewritten version of the Episteme Engine. The Episteme Engine is a plugin I created for the Unity game engine. Basically, I thought of the idea that, or many years, or I don't know how long, many years ago it was, I saw, maybe 3 years ago, I saw the movie Iron Man and, Jarvis. And I thought it would be very, very handy on a personal level that to actually have a artificial intelligence at home that you can, interact with, such as if you're sitting on your couch and you're wondering, God, what time is it? Just to speak out loud, what time is it? And the microphone will pick it up and actually return the time. So basically, the Episteme Engine was an attempt at that. I got the basic thing like, what time is it? And it will, it will actually check the time and give me the time, but it had a limited number of responses. It was a very, very crude and bare bones setup of a artificial intelligence, but that doesn't really matter. It it evolved a little bit into a artificial intelligence engine for gaming, so you can make detective games. You can walk up to a character in a game and say, where's John Smith, to a character in the game, and that character would actually have a response for you. So it was more like a chatterbot for games. There were reports that it was used in some college projects for robotics, which kind of kickstarted, my own personal race to develop it further. The Episteme Engine was a simple chatterbot using AI ML, the markup language. So I thought it would be better, instead of having a million questions with a million responses, which was still very limiting. I think the artificial intelligence engine should actually be able to get a sentence, analyze that sentence, and construct an answer based on the sentence you gave, without reaching into any external database for a response. So a test here of the SperoEngine, which is a completely rewritten version of the Episteme Engine with the same goal in mind, but not a single line of code has been duplicated from that project. The reason why it's big is because I've included dictionary, chunkers, definition of each word and all that. So basically, it has the English language included in the code. That's why it's, the code itself isn't more than, 100 maybe 1 megabyte of code, or 2 megabytes of code, but it's, over 120 megabytes of the English language. So basically right now it's currently analyzing the sentence, chunking it up, parsing it, constructing, the chunks in the sentence that you provide. Maybe later tonight and tomorrow and the next coming weeks, I'll be working on the linking and the conversion to maybe JavaScript, so it can actually fetch things from a local API. The goal is to keep it under 500 megabytes, so it can run, on Raspberry Pi or even on, Android or iOS. So you can have it on your iPhone or your Android phone or tablet, or even set up a small microphone to a microcomputer here at home and just, have it there. So let's see here. If we say, what is the time? You can see that what is a request, and is a definition of what is requested, and the time is requested. The reason why what is encapsulated here is because that's a standalone word for itself. Is also a standalone word for itself, but the time has been encapsulated together, so 2 words together, because the time is a specific thing, it's a constant. So let's say that it's 10 o'clock. The time would then be, the time would equal 10. So that means request is what to request. Request, if we say is an equal sign, request equals 10, would that sentence then be? But what if we say, for example, what is the current time? What is one word, is one word. The current time is a chunk for itself. That's because the time and the current time is the same thing. It's a constant, which is 10 or 1044 as it is now. So what I would like to do with here is I'm going to link the sentence or phrase that's been put in, and the intelligence should actually be able to understand or like really analyze the sentence and understand the sentence and construct a logical response based on that question, instead of having what is the time and having a designated locally stored answer ready to give you when the question is asked. So if I say, for example, the word hello, you would know hello is a word. It will not give a response right now because currently it's just a sentence analyzer. But a normal chatterbot has, if I say hello, it will tell me hello back, or hi there. It'll normally have 1 to 5 random responses to give. But if you meet a person and you say hi to that person every single day, and if that person says hi back every single day, then it will be a predetermined, almost like a constant, you expect that person to say hi when you say hi. So if you elaborate it a bit more, and because hi is very plain, you don't really expect anything else, but if we say, how are you doing today? And that person says good, no matter how often you say it, through 10 or 20 years, that person will always say good. He'll never say fine, I'm good today, better today than yesterday, because it has a predefined answer for that question. The reason why it doesn't have 10,000 different answers for that question is because there's a billion different questions out there, and if you have to have 10,000 answers per question out of those billion, that's 10,000 multiplied by a billion. It's way too much just to store locally, which still doesn't think for itself. It's basically a case-based reasoning system. So I'm taking it one step further and actually taking a sentence analyzer and really chunks it up, understands the sentence, and gives you a response based on that sentence. When I say, how are you today? It will actually take that sentence today and calculate what was the status yesterday or the day before. Have I given this response before? And just not to be plain old boring, it will actually take a sentence. If he feels the same way today as he did yesterday, the artificial intelligence, no stress on the computer or anything, it will actually take and modify yesterday's answer today, but in the same context. So for example, if you say good yesterday, he'll say fine today, because just so he knows not to be boring or all plain standard, So that's why logical reasoning instead of case-based reasoning is much more interesting and can be developed so much further, because let's say that this can be used in practical applications at homes, works, God knows where. You can actually take it to France or Spain, but the problem is it's currently in English. It only understands the English language, so I just have to translate the dictionary and the definitions over to Spanish. Then it will work in Spanish. A few tweaks about the grammatical engine will also have to be needed, but it will understand Spanish. However, with case-based reasoning, if you have 1 million questions with 10 billion answers to those questions, it will pick a random one based on the question. You would have to translate 10 billion answers and 1 billion questions over to the selected language you have. Sure, you can use a online translator or some kind of translating engine or something, but it will never do a 100% translation, because there's always going to be grammatical errors and stuff like that when you translate via a computer, or at least in the current systems that are not even, Google Translate, although they're always making some mistakes. That's why a artificial intelligence that actually understands the sentences and actually acts upon that, because then you can have a more universal translator if she understands both English and Spanish, instead of using Google Translate, which basically takes the word, which uses case-based reasoning. If you say, hello in English and put it through Google Translate, it'll come back with hola in Spanish, because it's, hello equals hola in Spanish. So it's a case-based reasoning. That equals this. But with a sentence, it can mean so much more. If you can say that, for example, something is cool. For example, the computer is cool. It can mean the computer is neat. It can also mean the computer is cold. So instead of having case-based reasoning, which says, yeah, it looks pretty freezing, the AI can analyze the sentence before and calculate what exactly you mean. For example, if you say, wow, that's pretty, that's pretty cool, then it will actually estimate or determine that when you say cool, you don't mean cold, because you said it's pretty just before, and then you said cool afterwards, which it kind of interprets that you kind of mean it's neat. So that's why logical reasoning is better than case-based reasoning, which will probably take or consume my next 2 years, but what can you do about that? So yeah.